Hello everybody and welcome to Nintendo Daily, your not daily dose of Nintendo news. Let's get straight into it. Today we're going to be talking about the 12 of Nintendo's most forgotten franchises that have been lost to time and rank them on a scale of 1 to 10 to see if they could actually come back. Let's get straight into it. The first one we have here is Star Fox, which hasn't gotten a new game since the Wii U back in 2016. So why hasn't there been a new one? Well, according to Miyamoto in an interview with Pure Nintendo, they couldn't really find any more ideas for a new game besides just making the graphics and sound better. I disagree. I've had this great idea for a long time for the next Star Fox game, where they could collab with F-Zero and Nintendo could kill two birds with one stone. Or they could do this. Close your eyes and imagine a 4K 60 FPS beautiful Star Fox game for the Switch 2 where you can go anywhere in a vast universe with auto-generated planets, moons, and stars. And I'm thinking it would be like the Star Fox version of No Man's Sky, because that game is incredible. Also, I remember seeing the Wii U Star Fox game, and I was amazed by how incredible it looked for a Wii U game. Just imagining that on Nintendo's brand new console would be awesome. So I would rate the likelihood that Nintendo would bring back this game franchise a 6.5 out of 10. I think if Nintendo actually tried to find ideas, they could make an amazing game. And hey, Nintendo, if you're watching this, I'm fine if you take my idea, I just need $1 million, but that's it. So thank you. The second game on this list is Rhythm Heaven. I'll say this one already, it's a 10 out of 10. It's already been announced. It was announced a long time ago, though. It was announced all the way back in March, so I hope it comes out soon. But it seems really cool, and it's great that this franchise that was once dead has been revived. Like I already said, 10 out of 10. It literally is coming back. The third game we have on this list is Punch-Out. Now, I feel that Nintendo has replaced Punch-Out with ARMS. Nintendo has decided instead of reviving Punch-Out, they made an original franchise, and it kind of failed because we haven't gotten an ARMS 2. But with that said, there was a leak a while back that there was a game in development that is a fist fighting game with a strong online component, and it uses motion controls and vibration to enhance the realism of punching somebody in the face. This leak was told by Nash Weedle, so take it with a grain of salt. He has been more right recently with the partner direct, but he does get a lot of things wrong, especially in the past, but he has a pretty good track record, so I don't know. He also predicted a Yoshi game, but that's off topic. He says that he thinks this could be an ARMS 2, but personally, based off of this description, I think it would be Punch-Out, because ARMS didn't really do that well. And nowhere it says that they have long spring arms from ARMS. It just says a fist fighting game. So this could be a brand new Punch-Out game. So out of 10, I rate it a 7.5 out of 10. And, I rate ARMS 2 a 4.5 out of 10. I just want to quickly say something that I found funny. I made a joke in my When is the Next Direct video, click right there, about a ARMS 2 legs, and then this leak that I was talking about earlier came out the very next day. So, but with that said, let's move on to the next game. The fourth game we have on this list is F-Zero. So, personally, I think that we're probably going to get a new one because Nintendo has been hinting at it for like the past 3 years. Because in 2023, Nintendo released F-Zero 99 out of nowhere, and a lot of people thought that Nintendo was experimenting by showing a brand new generation to F-Zero. And that got proven even more with GameCube Switch Online. When it released last year, it launched with F-Zero GX as one of its main flagship titles. And fans have been begging for this for years. So I think Nintendo has been trying to expose a brand new generation to F-Zero and make a brand new game. So I'll rate this one a 9 out of 10 because of the random revival of F-Zero with small games and remakes. Now the fifth one on this list is Kid Icarus. Now this franchise is very, very interesting because it was dead and then got revived. Like, it came back. In the 80s and 90s, Kid Icarus got one game on the NES and one game on the Game Boy. But then, no games for decades. But randomly, when the 3DS got revealed, Nintendo showed off a brand new Kid Icarus game out of the blue. And it was also developed by Sakurai? I've heard good things about the game besides, having the touch controls of the 3DS. So I think someday it could be re-released as a remake for the Switch, as maybe one of the last games on there before we move on completely. I don't think it would be like a full reimagining. It would more be like an HD port, like Luigi's Mansion 2. So I would rate a remake of this game a 5 out of 10. And I'd rate a full brand new game a 3.5 out of 10. But if there's a remake, it would make the second score higher. Now, the sixth one we have on this list is Wario Land. Not WarioWare. I don't know if you youngins even know what that is. It's basically like 2D Mario with Wario, and it's weirder. Except when they released a 3D game called Wario World. Now, speaking of that, it was released on the GameCube, and it was also added to NSO last year. So, is Nintendo trying to introduce Wario to a new generation? I don't know. It's kind of weird that out of all the games they choose Wario World. But I have the gut feeling that Nintendo wanted Wario to be something else instead of another 2D platformer like DK and Mario. So they made WarioWare to do a different genre for Wario games, and they've never really looked back. So out of 10, I only rate it a 4 out of 10 because they did release that GameCube Wario game. Now, for number 7, it's going to be a 2-in-1, because we're talking about Mario Basketball and Baseball. Now, these are basically the forgotten Mario sports games, because for some reason, Nintendo always likes to only make tennis and golf, sometimes soccer or football. So, I think we could get a new one of these in this generation, because we saw Mario Strikers in the Switch 1 generation. Even though it wasn't a good game. Will it be soon? Definitely no. Nintendo has released a Mario Tennis Fever a couple days back, and I think they would probably make a Mario Golf game before a new one of these. So we might not see any of these games until the end of the Switch 2's lifespan. So isn't that just great to think about? So overall, I think this is going to happen, just not soon at all. Who knows? Maybe they won't do another golf game, because nobody is sitting here begging for a new Mario Golf game to go buy a Switch 2 and play Mario Golf. My rating out of 10 to see how likely this thing is a 6.5 out of 10. Now, at number 8, we have Nintendogs. Let me be honest here, this is kind of a silly one because we're just trying to get to 12 games on this list. So with that said, I think this one is probably not going to happen. But with the recent nostalgia of the DS and 3DS era, there is a fan base for this. The Switch 2 also has a mic and a touchscreen, which obviously you use in Nintendogs games. Even if you put the Switch in the dock, you have the new mouse features. So my rating for this one, if we could see a revival of Nintendogs, is a 3 out of 10. Because there's really no evidence. To be honest, I think we're all just wishing and guessing. Because there's nothing leading me to actually thinking that Nintendo's even considering this. At number 9, we have the beloved Chibi Robo. So, this franchise has been mistreated by Nintendo for a long time now. The first game a lot of people loved, but it didn't really get that many sales out of Japan. At the time, that was probably because of the GameCube being kind of a flop. So the price on places like eBay skyrocketed. We'll get back to that in a second. But Nintendo saw that it didn't really sell well, so they made the next game on the DS cheap and a Walmart exclusive because they didn't think it would sell well. And then they made a 3DS game and it flopped, and that was because it was very bad. But remember when I said the price for the GameCube games skyrocketed? Well, eventually it was released on NSO last year, so with that happened, it could mean they want to retry and almost reboot the franchise for Switch 2. So my rating for this game is only a 2.5 out of 10 because they released it for NSO, but I also think Nintendo got scared from the poor sales and gave up. For the 10th one, we have Earthbound, also known as Mother. So with this game, the creator of the franchise has repeatedly said over and over again that there will never be a Mother 4 or a Earthbound 4. But it would be interesting if there was a combo remake pack of all 3 games. I don't know, Earthbound fans, I don't know a lot about Earthbound, so please don't flame me. But I think they could remake all 3 of the games in a 2D style, even like Super Mario RPG style. So my rating for a new entry in this one is a 0 out of 10, completely no. And for a remake, 4 out of 10. Now, at number 11, we have New Super Mario Bros. Now, this franchise started as a fresh, new, amazing thing after Mario World all the way back in 1990, because there was no new 2D Mario games for the longest time, only 3D Mario. It almost replaced it. Then in 2006, we got New Super Mario Bros. For the DS, a fresh new take on the 2D Mario formula. But then they released New Super Mario Bros. Wii. Cool. 4 players. And then New Super Mario Bros. 2. Coins. And then we got New Super Mario Bros. U. Nabbit. And then again, we got New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe. And the worst part was that all these games were almost the exact same as each other. They were cheap and boring and not at all how Mario used to be back in the 80s and 90s. And this went on until we got Super Mario Bros. Wonder in 2023. A fun, creative, fresh, innovative take on the new 2D Mario format. And it was exactly what all the fans wanted. So, with that story time over, I think New Super Mario Bros. Is a dead franchise. With Nintendo finally becoming creative again, New Super Mario Bros. Served its purpose, but now it's done. So, I give it a 1 out of 10. And the final dead franchise, you can debate if it's truly dead, but you know I gotta talk about it. At number 12, we have 3D Mario. Yes, I know, but like seriously, at this point, it's basically a dead franchise. Next year, it will be a decade since the last 3D Mario. And in all that time, we haven't heard a single thing about it. Obviously, I think it's gonna happen. Like, it always happens. Nintendo's just not gonna have a new 3D Mario. It might even show up in this direct that's apparently happening this week by Nash Weedle. I don't really know if I can trust him. I'm never gonna talk about him again if he's wrong, and so far I do not think that is happening. But if you want to hear about how I failed and made a whole video about my predictions for a direct that never happened, go watch it right there. With all that said, the likelihood that we're gonna get a new 3D Mario, I'd say, is a 9 out of 10. If you wanna get more in depth about what I think the next 3D Mario will be like, go watch the video right there. Thank you for making it this far. It took me a long time to make this video. This is my longest video ever. So maybe take the extra step of subscribing. I don't know. I'm just trying to make it to 100 subs, and I am so close. Currently, as saying this, I am at 98. And I'll eat Play-Doh if I make it to 100. And remember, kids, don't text while driving. Yeah.